All right, and we are back. Thank you for standing by, my friends. We'll get switched over to the Switch, and we'll play some Jump King. Start to get a few of these things kind of out of the way for a moment. Oh, hey, Christian, cool. Thank you for the lurk. Hope the week is going going well. Gonna be lurking. Things are things are all right. Things are a little less than great. I don't like to. I try not to be too woe is me on the stream, other than lamenting my terrible fate about the games I'm playing. I try not to be too down about my real world issues, but my roof started leaking today, so I do have a few problems. Oh, during the storm that started last night, and I think it's still raining. I woke up I woke up to find water leaking out of one of my light fixtures in my bedroom. And I've also found a mysterious water spot on the wall that looks like a ghost has left a vertical crop circle on one of my walls. And there's another spot where I know the ceiling is leaking. The leaking from the light fixture stopped for like no reason. It was dripping. It was dripping, and it was dripping rather aggressively for a while. I put a towel under it. I didn't really know what else to do. And then it just kind of stopped after a little while, and I was like, well, that will solve my problem for now. But this is not a situation which can be left unaddressed. So that just means it went somewhere else. That's not good. No, cows. I'm trying not to think about this too much. Leaky roofs are the worst. Yeah, so we're probably gonna have to get a new roof put on, and right away. I mean, we knew when we moved in the house was like needing a new roof. I thought I thought we had I thought we had another winter, and it looks like we don't. So I don't know. I don't know. Jelly and I are gonna figure out what to do about this, I guess. So I do have a problem, and it's not a good problem to have, but there's not a whole lot I can do about it in the immediate moment. So just try not to think about it too much and hope it doesn't get worse in the meantime. I'll probably be making some phone calls. That's why I'm a little bit unsure of the Friday stream as well, because I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know what my immediate future is going to look like. Hey, watch out. This might be a little loud. That's not awful. All right, so we are 41 hours in. 50,000 jumps. 5.5k falls. I actually... Hooray, the roof wasn't leaking enough to stop Jump King. I actually misread that, jumps. I didn't know it was 50k. I thought it was 5k, and I was about to say, I don't know how I've fallen more times than I've jumped. Alright, let's pull the game up, and I'll be able to see, like, how to resize my little windows here. Close enough. That's a new artwork, by the way. The Frownie. The Witch Frownie. Jelly made that one just earlier today. Very appropriate for the season. It's bewitching, Cow says. Alright, and one more thing to do before we really get rolling. I gotta change my controller to the SNES controller. Where is that? There it is. I like this much better than the Pro controller. Oh no, I didn't bring the video back, I removed the art. That's more like it. Love the purple hat, very appropriate for Frownie. Yeah, I'm always a little bit, purple on purple. But, I mean, it is the best color. Best part of the night's always immediate when we restart Jump King, and I realize just how rusty I've gotten since the last time I picked it up. And we have to spend a tremendous amount of time falling back into the ice dungeon. Don't worry, it's coming. I made a couple good jumps there, but don't let them deceive you. Oh, and there was a comment earlier I didn't comment on, but I read. It's still in my mind. Tommy said, Game Boy Advance Echo the Machine was what you were streaming the first time I caught a broadcast of yours. The good thing about coming in during that game is then, like, I know that I haven't deceived you with I know that I haven't deceived you with what normally goes on around here. Whenever people come in and I'm playing a good game, I'm like, if they give me a follow, I'm like, I really hope that they're following for the stream and not the game, because are they ever gonna be in for an awakening when I get back to what I'm usually up to? GBA Echo, which month? GBA Echo didn't actually take me that long. I must point out, right? We started it in July. I think we started it on the last day of July, and I mean, I was definitely done with it before October. I mean, July doesn't even count. It was the last day of July when we started it. It might have technically been August if I did it after midnight. Nah, I wouldn't have done it after midnight. Genesis Echo, though? 100% which month? Like, that almost feels like which year. It's Halloween every time, all the time. Every follow is trick or treat. Don't look, this isn't the real me. Frownie while playing a decent game. I mean, I have been playing a lot of Tears of the Kingdom, so there has been a lot of not suffering time, but yeah. I mean, just check out the BRB artwork, right? Like, that's, look at those titles. That's a pretty nasty rogues gallery there. Those are some pretty rough times, and some of them lasted quite a while. So spooky. Hey, Derek, welcome in. Welcome to Jump King. As soon as we finish the spooky WiiWare, the very next night we're gonna play 50 video games included, by the way. So, maybe as early as next week. That's what 50 video games included is going to replace the WiiWare Marathon when it's over. Ouch. Vampire Crystals. Vampire Crystals went well. We made some progress. It's a lot harder. It's a lot harder on the levels we're up to now, so progress is slow. But I I completed a world. I defeated a boss. We've got 2 worlds left. I'm going to try and do a world a night for the next couple streams. So we'll do one tomorrow and then maybe Friday. There's no regular stream on Thursday. This week. So still a scary game. I have a plug-and-play. I have a plug-and-play device. I don't know what it's called. It's another multi-game plug-and-play. It's shaped like a Nintendo 64 controller. And it has a joystick, but the joystick is fake. It doesn't move. And I actually, well, I had the box for it. I might have thrown the box out. I think I took pictures of the box and threw it out. I don't think I held on to it. But on the box, it had like artwork, like, you know, suggesting the types of games that were included. And one of the pieces of artwork was a it was a piece of artwork from the Phantom Menace. It was like Qui-Gon fighting Darth Maul or something like that. I have to look at it again. But I was like, there was it just, there's no way that this picture has anything to do with any of the contents of this plug and play. If Frownie really wants to scare us, he can find more stable adventures. I have one more game in that series. We only, the Let's Ride series, we only played the GBA games, but I also have a PlayStation 2 game in the same series. So, you know, watch out. That's coming for us one day. You torture yourself with bad games like I do with bad movies, Derek says. We were talking about movies just a little bit earlier, Derek. I mentioned that over the weekend, Jelly and I watched a couple movies. We watched Poltergeist 2 and 3, and we watched The Frighteners. So, sort of varying quality there. I should have been quiet. I'll see myself out, Buddhafinger says. Well, the thing about the Let's Ride games is there's a lot of them on the DS, but I can't stream DS games, so... you're at least safe from those. Frighteners is really good. Never seen the Poltergeist sequels. They're not great. They're kind of they're like they're not really interestingly bad, but they're not very good. If you were to make a graveyard for Tears of the Kingdom shrines, what would you put on there? maybe I don't. All the shrines that I murdered by cheesing them into oblivion. I listened to someone complain one time about Breath of the Wild. They were complaining about how a lot of the shrines in Breath of the Wild, if you use the power-ups, that you can cheese them to break the puzzles. And the thing was, on my Breath of the Wild playthrough, I never thought to approach shrines in that way at all. I just looked at I looked at every shrine and asked myself what's expected of me and did them just by the book. I never at any point tried to devise any clever solution for any of the shrines. I just tried to do what was intended in every single one of them on my Breath of the Wild playthrough. And so, I don't know, the point, the point of complaint that the power-ups made the shrines breakable, one, it never even occurred to me on my playthrough. And then I was like, I don't understand why that's a bad thing. I can't, giving you the option to solve things in unintended ways, I just can't get behind that as a negative. Because the Tears, performing nonsense in the Tears of the Kingdom shrine has been some of the most fun I've had with the game. There'd have to be bridges instead of tombstones for the Tears of the Kingdom shrines. Better yet, a bridge made out of tombstones. Watching the Munsters movie that came out last year, Derek says. It's pretty bad, but I kind of like it, ironically. I don't have any, I have really no experience or attachment to the Munsters. I don't think I've ever, like, I don't think I've ever seen an episode of the Munsters. I haven't seen any of the movies. I guess I was more. I guess I've always been more of an Addams Family guy than a Munsters guy. Ever since you had the moment in Dark Souls with the cursed frogs, I think you've taken some new perspective to games. That was my one big brain moment. That was the one idea that I had that was really like, I can't believe I even thought of it. I think I was in high school before I figured out those were two different shows, Cal says. Same here, I like the Addams Family way more. So I didn't mind how bad you didn't mind how bad the Munsters was. I mean, I'm not well versed in the Addams Family either, but I've seen more of its content. I've seen a few of the movies, at least. Made my Windows 11 PC look like Windows XP, Board Jam says. I'd probably want to do something similar if I were using Windows 11. An XP aesthetic would feel playfully nostalgic to me. Munsters was never as big compared to the Addams Family, Derek says. I think Jelly used to watch the Munsters. Jelly watched a lot of those, like, what I think of as, like, Nick at Night type TV shows. Like, I Dream of Jeannie and I Love Lucy and stuff like that. That I never really watched. But I know she watched a lot of those kinds of things. Things of a similar era that I know that I watched a bit of were things like I know I watched a bit of Green Acres, but I don't remember anything about it except the theme song. I couldn't tell you a single detail. Like I couldn't tell you a single character name or plot or anything that ever happened on the show. All I remember is the theme song. I watched a bit of Gilligan's Island. Hey Tip, welcome in. That's probably the thing, like, you know, of that general era of television, like, that's probably the show that I've seen the most of. But it's been a good long while. No! Oh, I fell off without even a jump. Hope everyone's doing good. Things are, things are alright with me. I got a few worries here and there, but here in this moment, Jump King is the biggest obstacle in my life. It is rather insurmountable, though. You raise a good point, Frownie. I can't think of a solid, tangible plot from Gilligan's Island. Well, I was saying that about Green Acres. Gilligan's Island, like, the exact same thing happened every week. Some celebrity would show up as some celebrity from, like, the 70s that I never heard of would show up as a guest character, and then they'd all come up with a solution for how to get off the island, and then at the end of the episode, the celebrity guest would leave without any of the castaways. And it'd be back to status quo. Like, that's every single episode. It's probably Don Knotts, too. Never would have guessed something. Professor makes a gadget out of a coconut and saves the day. I never cared for Gilligan's Island, Derek says. It was just boring to me. It was one of the things that came on in the morning when I was, it's one of the things that would come on in the morning when I was getting ready for school. So I'd kind of half watch it while I was having breakfast. I cared for Mr. Popper's Penguin, Sport Jam says. I've never seen that. So I didn't really go out of my way for Gilligan's Island, but I wasn't you know, it was fine. It was fine to watch when it was on. It's kind of like Rocky and Bullwinkle. I never cared for that show. I found Rocky and Bullwinkle incomprehensible. I don't know, I feel like I never understood that show, but it was just like something like, well, I guess it's technically a cartoon, I'll leave it on. I love that show, but so did both my parents, so they referenced it a lot. I was indoctrinated when I was small, Chaos says. I like some older shows, but some of the classics I think are overrated, Derek says. I don't know that I have enough experience with a lot of them to really judge. One of my favorite older shows is Bonanza, Derek says. Great show. I don't think I've ever seen it. I only know the theme song. By which I mean I only know the part where they chant Bonanza. Or maybe I'm thinking of the wrong show. Oh no. Oh, this is going very poorly. I mean, it always does, but... I haven't even made it out of the wind once yet tonight. So I have made it up considerably, like, I've made it up quite high, like, as opposed to where we are now. It's hard to describe exactly where my PB is. It's, other than to say it's several screens up above this. If we get close to it at any point, I will do my best to remember to point out, you know, oh, we're getting close to something new, and if we hit something new, we will definitely stop and celebrate, but I got a ways to go to get back to where we were. There's no point at which all my progress can't be literally 100% erased. And that happens usually multiple times per night, so... You know, hold on. This is not a stream about beating Jump King. This is a stream about living with Jump King. Watch quite a grip of Hogan's Heroes, Budafingers says. Show is always a highlight of older material for me. I missed out on that one as well. Gunsmoke's pretty good too, Derek says. I could tolerate an episode of Get Smart, Budafinger says. I think MASH and Breaking Bad are way overrated, Derek says. So MASH I've never actually watched. Like I have like a Pavlovian distaste for MASH because like that's the show that, like, when I was a kid, like, when MASH would come on, like, that would be, like, the signal that, like, cartoons were over for the day. So, like, that, the MASH theme song is like the death toll for my like television enjoyment for the day when I was a kid. Which if you've never looked at the MASH theme song, is actually really appropriate because the theme song to MASH is an incredibly dark song. If I understand the lyrics right. Watched a lot of MASH, don't love it. Definitely brought up some things, Budafinger says. Found it dull, Derek says. Or like the tone. Or it's a blend of humor and drama, but it's just kind of depressing. I was always a bit too young for it, Budafinger says. Yeah, I was too young for it. I think my parents watched it at least semi-regularly, but the MASH video game on the Atari is pretty interesting. The 2600 game. It's nearly impossible to play against the computer because the AI is just way too powerful. But I think played against another human, it could be quite fun. I forgot about that game, Budafinger says. Yeah, we checked it out one night on the stream. Like, it wasn't really worth playing more than that because, yeah, the computer is impossible to beat. It just plays flawlessly and way too fast. Or, you know, maybe I'm just trash at the game. That's entirely possible. But Had potential. Hulu just got Moonlighting, Derek says, which has Bruce Willis. I've always wanted to see that. It's wild to think how much television exists that I'm just completely ignorant of. One of my favorite shows of all time, Derek says, is Stargate Atlantis. I love that show, Cal says. I have seen nothing Stargate related. I think I have a season of Stargate on Blu-ray. I don't know if it's Stargate Atlantis or not. But I've never watched it. For a while, we would, for a while, I lived near a library that would, it would sell, media donations. People would just, just donate, like, books and media, and the library would just put them up for sale on the shelves, and, all of their disc-based media was just a flat price of $1. So I would go in there and I would just buy everything they had. I would buy every Blu-ray that I saw, since they were just $1 a piece, regardless of my familiarity or level of interest with the material. I was just like, oh, I just buy it all. And then if I watch it someday and I don't like it, it only costs me $1 to find out. But then all that stuff I bought, I never sat down and watched any of it. So I've got a bunch of weird random stuff, and it's not a ton. It's like maybe 40 different things at absolute most. It's probably significantly less, but we need to strap Frownie into the machine from A Clockwork Orange and make him watch stuff. I wish you could just strap me into the machine from The Matrix and just download it into me. That would be better. Well, that was short-lived. Oh, hello, hello. Way, welcome in, Raiders. Welcome to the stream, friends. Juker, thank you very much for the raid. I hope you've had a hope you had a wonderful night. Tell us what were you up to? Just says retro. I'd love to hear the details of what was going on. Hope your stream treated you well. Welcome in, friends of Juker, Commander Blackheart, Arcade Park, Teddy Ross, Dr. Zeos, Pyronic, Flare Sword. Thank you for joining us. We are having a very we're having a laid back kind of night because we're playing Jump King, and you will very quickly discover I am not good at this game. There are some highs, but it's mostly lows. there is no progress I cannot erase. Have you learned nothing from Sark? Yeah. So this is my first playthrough of this game. I've been going through it. I'm going through it blind. I haven't seen anyone else play it, and I really don't know anything about it other than what I've seen with my own eyes. I do have reason to suspect that I have wandered onto an optional path, but I am stubbornly committed to sticking with it, and seeing where it ends up at. It's been rough. It's been rough. Juker says we're playing a dumb cheese fest I love for the Dreamcast. Illbleed. Dumb cheese fest sounds like a good time. I know I've heard the name of Illbleed before, but I haven't looked into that one myself. It sounds like an amazing time. From what I saw with Sark, the entire game is optional because you can turn it off at any time. I only wish I were that smart. It's been a rather challenging night. So we started off the night with something called Vampire Crystals. I've been playing WiiWare games for October. Every sort of spooky or horror WiiWare title. I've been trying to play them all. We've been going roughly in alphabetical order, and we're up to something called Vampire Crystals, which is it's a dual stick shooter. So like a Smash TV, people compare it to Vampire Survivors. I haven't played that game, but that's what it gets compared to in the chat. And it's an alright game. It's a bit tough though, and after I beat it last night, I found out there's a loop 2 where they make the game even harder, and yeah, it was a struggle. It was a struggle tonight. So I'm going to be working on that one for a while. And so then after torturing myself with that, I'm torturing myself with this. So it's been a challenging night over here. Did you play My Life as a Dark Lord? It's kind of Halloweeny. That one didn't strike me. I didn't actually play that one yet. Commander Blackheart. That because it's a Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles spin-off tie-in. When I looked through the list, that one didn't jump out at me as spooky. So I may have made a mistake in overlooking it. But that wasn't one that we did. So we did Castlevania The Adventure Rebirth, which was really good. We did Anima Arc of Sinners, which was not good. That's a game that like almost could have been something cool and special, but it just wasn't. We played Dracula Undead Awakening, which that was fun. That was another Smash TV type game. We played Gabrielle's Ghostly Groove Monster Mix, a completely bogus dance game. We played Ghost Mania, a block puzzle game, kind of like Tetris Attack, which was fine. Not really original, but fine for what it was. Ghost Mansion Party, a Mario Party clone that they're pretty thin on content, but actually not terrible for a Mario Party clone. It's something I think could be fun, especially with some other humans. We played a game called Lit, which is probably the standout title. Lit is a puzzle. It's a puzzle game where you move through darkened rooms by creating safe pathways with beams of light. That game it has like 25 levels, and it was really amazingly great for about 24 of them. The last level got horrifically frustrating, and then the final boss almost brought me to tears. It was so aggravating and difficult. So that game took a nosedive, and that's one that like I didn't 100% that game either, because after you beat it, you unlock a hard mode. That's the same game except with a brutal time limit. And I mean absolutely brutal. It doesn't give you leeway for one single misinput. And with the wonky Wii motion controls, forget about it. There's no way I was going to make it through a second time. Heartbreaking. And then that's been just about it. We're on Vampire Crystals now is the game we're playing now. I've only got a couple left. Oh, I forgot. There's something called Happy Holidays Halloween, which is not really a game. It is a postcard making app. So you can send people spooky postcards through Wiimail. We explored all the content of that, you know. You can't really say we played it, but we saw everything it has. So I think that's it. And like I might have missed some spooky titles. I picked them out just by looking at a list of titles and just like, you know, just seeing what seems spooky. So I missed the Dark Lord one. It's a hidden gem. Its art style with the character designs, I'd say, are festive for Halloween. I think I'll look into it. There's two of those. There's My Life as a Dark Lord and My Life as something else. It's like a pair of games, right? That's another reason why I didn't really think of it, I guess, is because its companion piece didn't strike me as spooky. So I think it's just My Life as a King. I thought Lit was a little shady, Buddhafinger says. Well done. Ravenchild, welcome in. Hope you're having a great night. And another raid, Angelus. Thank you for the raid, my friend. Welcome in. We're just kind of chit-chatting here for a moment. I was giving a summary of our WiiWare marathon. Tell us, how did your stream go, Angelus? What were you working on tonight? The most terrifying game of all, Jump King. Angelus is playing The Quivering. Hopefully that went well for you. Life as a King is less so. Don't leave the castle grounds. The aesthetic is less fitting for the season. there's a good possibility that I'll check them out at some point. I'm interested to play through Crystal Chronicles someday as it is, just to check it out. And I have got a strong interest in WiiWare. I'm I have a good feeling that over the course of the next couple years, I'm gonna play through a lot of the WiiWare library. There's something about the WiiWare library that just really fascinates me. I like the shovelware you can find in there, and a good title every now and then mixed in. I can't say no to that. It's actually, unironically, one of my favorite games of all time. Very high praise. I hope when I get to it that I'm equally enthusiastic for it. Well, we'll give it a go someday, but I can't say when. The Quivering is a point-and-click, first-person horror game, kind of a Tim Burton art style, but done by people with British accents. It was made in the 90s. I never heard of it, Angela says. I don't know it. I don't know it. Thank you for the follow, Commander Blackheart. Appreciate you coming on board with us. In The Quivering, you play as the nephew of Dr. Frankenstein. It's turned into a raven by a giant demon called Big D. It is silly. I was trying to think of a joke involving the word nevermore, but my wit's too slow. It's actually responsible for how I got my name as well. Never mind, the cow says. Oh, you got me. Well done. Do you know my life as a Dark Lord? Is that one of the games that, like, is that only ever been WiiWare, or has that been brought over to, like, a modern eShop? Because it seems like a lot of those titles have just stayed lost forever as WiiWare. Even some of the even some of the really good ones are just kind of gone now that the Wii is expired. It's never been brought past the WiiWare. Shame. Oh no. They do tend to wear thin, Buddhafinger says. Oh no! I think that's the first time I've ever fallen back down that particular direction there. That's very preferable to falling on the other side like I normally do. The game even has some dark woods in it, complete with a cabin that looks suspiciously like the one from Evil Dead, Angela says. I mean, that's a pretty iconic spooky cabin. Excuse me one brief moment, my friends. All right. So a little overdue, but the rundown for those new to the stream. Thank you again for checking out what we do over here. I appreciate you stopping in and checking out the stream. I'm Frownie, of course. I stream several nights a week in the late part of the Central Time Zone, so generally sometime from about 11 p.m. to 4 or 5 a.m. is when you'll catch me. I'm overwhelmingly a retro streamer. Anything from the Commodore 64 to the PlayStation 2 is what I think of as typical fare for me, but I will play newer things than that on the Switch from time to time. So like currently we're working on Jump King. I'm still playing through Tears of the Kingdom. We're also working on Gargoyle's Quest on the Game Boy, though. And, of course, we're doing this WiiWare project. I like brutally difficult games, usually platformers like Contra and Castlevania and Super Ghouls and Ghosts. Torture devices like Jump King as well. Kind of fall into that category. I like adventure-type games. I play things of pretty high quality, and I'll play a lot of trash as well. Again, the WiiWare sort of has a mix of both. Next month, we're probably going to feature some plug-and plays semi-heavily on the stream. I prioritize an extremely strictly blind playthrough style, so I don't like to do research about the games I'm going to play ahead of time. And that includes even things like reading the manual or the back of the box. I don't like to ask for hints or help or advice or heads up about anything as much as I can avoid it. So there's a lot of times where like I won't even really understand necessarily all of the mechanics or even basic controls of some of the stuff I'm playing. But I really like the struggle your way through it approach, and it opens the door for some really sort of amusing times when I am forced through my own ignorance to develop a rather bogus, unique approach to how to do something in a game, or I have a mind-blowing moment of discovery, and I like a hard-won victory. It's generally a pretty family-friendly stream. Most of what you hear out of me, I'm going to try and keep as all ages appropriate as I can. We will play M-rated games sometimes, but I give a pretty good heads up about that, or try to at least. The idea is for everyone to be able to have a comfy environment, low stress, relax, forget the cares of the world, and just enjoy watching me struggle and suffer my way through a bunch of games that are way too hard for me. Thank you for the wheel, Buddha Fingers. Speaking of suffering. The Wheel of Scorchin is it's a torture device. It's filled with several spicy and sour foods. Some of them very mild. Some of them no worries at all, extremely mild. Others get pretty hot sometimes. there's been at least one item on here in the past that was downright apocalyptic, and it's not quite that bad at the moment, but we'll see what I land on. Uh, this game was getting over it before getting over it was getting over it. People have, people have told me I don't really know that game. I've heard of the title, but I haven't seen anything from it before. I haven't tried to play it, but it does come up a lot while I'm playing this, and leads me to believe that if I ever finish this game, I might have to look at that one. There's a singing killer plant in the uncle's greenhouse, Angela says. That sounds like, I mean, clearly that's a Little Shop of Horrors, but it makes me think of Monster Party on the NES. I've always heard Evil Dead was good. Should I read the book, Buddhafinger says? Good luck. I would advise against reading the Necronomicon, Angela says. Derek says you definitely should. You'll love Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures on the 3DS. It's a 2D platformer. Very hard game, due to it being terrible, and I hate it. That does sound like something that I could love. Oh, that backspin. We got robbed. It was going to land on purple, and it went backward one. Well, we landed on something. We landed on toxic waste anyway, so I'm not going to complain. It was just a solar flare. You're being dramatic, Buddhafinger says. Yeah, the item, the worst item I've ever had on the wheel was something called solar flare sunflower seeds. And they were just devastating. They gave me the hiccups, and I was out of commission for like 15 minutes every time I ate one. Toxic waste candy is like Warheads. It's a candy with like a sour powder coating it. Not the the most aggressive thing, but they have a bit of a punch. We got the watermelon flavor. Toxic waste is so good. I used to pop like 5 at a time, Ravenchild says. I never actually had the toxic waste before the stream. They were recommended to me because I had Warheads on here. And these are a little stronger than Warheads. The only problem for me with that Pac-Man game that you mentioned, Blackheart, is if it's on the 3DS, I don't have any way to stream it. I don't have any hardware for DS or 3DS, sadly. Nothing with video out. Hey, Big Evil, welcome in. Thank you for the raid. We're just having some sour candy. Five at a time of these might be a little intense. I have been guilty, though, of eating warheads back to back. Enough of them that the like citric acid powder or whatever it is would burn tinder spots in the roof of my mouth. But yeah, just for a minute, yeah, it wears off really fast. we are all the raiders are coming to are coming to join us tonight. This is wonderful. We basically just had a double raid. I didn't even finish saying hello to Big Evil, and Dollar Phil is coming in as well. Thank you, both of you for joining us. Tell us about how Elden Ring is going, Big Evil. Big Evil is working on a project to complete all the Souls games before the end of the year, and he's already up to Elden Ring. So the day is basically won already. It's just a matter of time, I'm sure. And Dollar Phil, what were you working on? How did your stream go, my friend? Welcome in, and welcome to your friends. We had the Juker raid in, and then Angelus, Big Evil, Dollar Phil, all within less than a half an hour. All right, we're past the worst with this. The toxic waste. One of the things about the toxic waste, warheads are just sour on the outside. Toxic waste are sour on the outside, but they're also sour in the core. So while we're through the worst of it, it is going to hit me again in a moment. More Elden Ring, Big Evil says. And Dollarfield says Resident Evil. Been getting into the meat of it. The first Resident Evil. I don't remember if we talked about that one yet. If it's the first one, which version of it are you playing? The original, the director's cut, the remake? If we've been over this, I'm sorry, I've forgotten. I've slept since last time. The original, the first one. I've never played that one myself. I've only played the remake on the GameCube, which I like quite a bit. I've always I want to check out the original at some point. I hope it's treating you well. It's only your third day with it, you think? So we played something called Vampire Crystals earlier tonight. It's I've been playing through all the spooky games on the WiiWare library. We're up to the V's. Sorry, the second round of sour is hitting me now. I've broken through to the core. We were playing Vampire Crystals earlier tonight. It's a Smash TV type game, dual stick shooter, and it's pretty good. But it was a little difficult, and we actually beat it last night. But we unlocked Loop 2 that we have to do for the true ending. So I played it again tonight, and it's so much harder. So I struggled through that, and then when that brutality was over, I got to. It was time to pick up Jump King again for this agony. So it's been the games have been rough tonight, but I've had some really good company, so there's nothing really to complain about. No game is more terrifying than this one right here, Angela says. This is an experiment in psychological horror. I think it's tagged that. Someone told me that this game is tagged psychological horror on the Steam library, I think. I love Toxic Waste, Big Evil says. Yeah, they're good. I was a little unsure if I was gonna like them more than Warheads, but they've got a better kick to them. Wish I had more WiiWare stuff, Dollar Phil says. Yeah, it's a real shame that the WiiWare library is just kind of lost. Like so much of it is just trapped to history. I mean, like there's ways to get a hold of it, but it would be nice. It would be really nice if some of this stuff had a, an official rollover into the modern eShop or something. Yeah, it's tagged psychological horror on Steam. This game makes Dark Souls look easy. Dark Souls is an interesting game, right? Because like I played through Dark Souls and I'm not gonna say like Dark Souls is an easy game and people are wrong to call it hard or anything, but it's a Dark Souls is hard in a way that's not. Dark Souls is hard in a way that's easy for me to deal with. So like even though even though there are definitely parts where I got bogged down and struggled for quite a while in Dark Souls, I don't know. I don't recall. I don't. Dark Souls never sent me to the depths of despair that many other hard games do. Dark Souls always seemed like something that I would eventually overcome. I don't know that it's easy to say. I don't know that it's easy to say that. I don't feel like I have anywhere near the same hope for this game that I had for Dark Souls. When you play a lot of retro jank, Dark Souls is enjoyable. Shadow Archon, welcome in, Shadow. Always a pleasure to have you with us, my friend. Hope you are well. Yeah, Dark Souls was like super refreshing in a lot of ways. So I don't it gets pointed at, like it gets pointed to as like this like impossible game, and like while it's definitely hard, it's not hard in the same way that like things that devastate me typically are. So but it is convenient. It's a convenient shorthand, right? Because when everyone says like this game is like Dark Souls, like even though it's sort of an exaggeration, the impossibility of that game, everyone knows what you mean when you say that. So I do think the comparison will forever be useful. It's a very convenient shorthand, and it is difficult enough to be worthy of the honor of being the game people point to in some ways. So um that's just because you had Chompy McBite Face to keep you company in Dark Souls. I could never feel despair in Dark Souls because I had a friend with me the whole time. Chompy McBite Face is the loving name of my pet worm that I carried through most of my Dark Souls playthrough on top of my head. For anyone who may not have been here for that adventure. Dark Souls didn't, Sekiro did, make you feel despair. I deleted Sekiro after I beat it, Big Evil says. Hey, Master Tuesday, welcome in. Happy Tuesday to you. Mine was wormy. I don't think that spending the I don't think it's necessarily that the thing about Chompy McBiteface is I don't really necessarily feel like I need to feel bad for spending half of my playthrough with a giant egg on my head, because I had no way of knowing if it was removable or how to remove it for all of that time. So like even if I did know, for sure that I could remove it, I didn't know how, and I didn't have any way of finding out how. So I can't really feel bad about having it on my head for all that time. The thing I should feel bad about is that I never realized it was eating half my experience points the whole game. Because then, I might have been I might have at some point been more motivated to seek out a way to remove it if it had occurred to me that I was losing half my souls. But I didn't notice. I didn't notice when they got cut in half, and by the time I got back to a familiar enemy with the thing on my head, I didn't remember how many souls they were worth before. So so I guess I really had no way of figuring out that piece of information either, but that's the thing that I feel like makes me foolish. There's a way you can upgrade the worm? That I didn't know about. That would have been, but that could have potentially been interesting to have stumbled upon. Is it actually worthwhile to do it, though? You didn't either until you beat it? I feel like that's something that's pretty safe to tell me about at this point. Being a long ways out from having beaten the game. It replaces your Sparta kick with the worm attack from your arm. Worm attack from your arm. Well, I definitely had my punchy McBite face. I definitely lost my kick. So you can get an arm worm? Oh, weird. Does that take away one of your weapon hands then? Like you have to, like you can't dual wield or you lose your shield or something? Because I could never, I could never, you don't think so? I could never live in Dark Souls without my shield. I never learned to roll. I needed the shield. I've got to get a move on here. We've only got about an hour or so left to stream tonight, maybe a little longer, but I still haven't seen anything new yet tonight. I can't have a night of Jump King where I don't see a new screen. It will demoralize me too much. Demoralization incoming. I really want to get out of this wind. This part right here, this screen and the screen above it, I don't feel like these jumps are really that hard, but I definitely have a very hard time with them. There's some kind of disconnect happening in my brain, I think. This one right here is especially difficult to jump from this platform into that building over there. We did alright, though. Just any jump, like, you know, because you've got sort of, like, two extremes of, like, you know, like the shortest possible hop from just a tap of the button. And then you have, like, the maximum jump, which if you hold the button down long enough, you automatically jump at what is your maximum strength. And, like... So, of course, those kind of jumps are, like, they're pretty easy to get a handle on. So, but anything in between, like those subtle shades of medium jump. They're just all devastatingly difficult. No. The missed jumps are just so punishing up here, too. Look at how far I fell. Look at how bad my life got from one mistake. And it just happens over and over and over and over. Oh my goodness. Why do we subject ourselves to this? What is, like... What is the, like, fundamental part of my brain that it's missing that prevents me from being clever enough to stop doing this to myself? I think I'm missing the self-preservation center of the mind. I just wander blithely into destruction. It's because you want to win. We don't let the game win, Shadow says. I mean... At some point, it's like, even if I win, have I won? when the game has done so much meanness to me, is there any coming back from this? Jumps can't win, only Lex wins. Solve my maze. Thought the wind was blowing well enough to... I didn't think that was gonna happen. Why? Why did they put this little ledge here? Just to make me have to jump up. Oh, it's so scary. It's kind of like the people that made this game just don't like me very much, you know? I'm starting to get that. I'm starting to get that feeling. I'm starting to get the feeling that somebody didn't want me to have a good time. Without that ledge, I'd just be Jump Prince, not Jump King. That's what separates me. That's what separates me from the rest of the nobility. Is my crown worth it? These guys remind me of the quarreling brothers from A Link to the Past, whom they are in no way alike, except that they are quarreling brothers. No! At the very, very beginning of the game, first screen, absolute bedrock, there's like an old wizard guy down there, and he's got various like things that he says to you, sort of a mixture of encouragement and taunting, like a lot of the characters have, or just sort of semi-random sort of flavor text to give you a feel of the world and its sort of like sense of humor and whatnot. But I spent so much time at the start of this game falling back down to where that guy hung out that I exhausted all of his dialogue and he never said anything to me ever again. And I'm kind of surprised because that even would happen, because there's a lot of other characters like that I've seen at least that often, but they continue to talk except their dialogue loops, and it was just weird that his dialogue never looped like theirs does. So the screen above this one, I think, is my PB. If you're curious how high I've ever been, I think I've been, well, now I think I've been 2 screens above the one I'm at now. And believe you me, when I got up here and I saw this statue, I really wanted this to be the end of the game. I was really hoping that this statue was the babe at the top and I was done. I was very devastated that that did not turn out to be the case. That there is in fact more stuff. Oh, yuck. I mean, it's not the first time I've made that fall. Definitely won't be the last. It's the first time I saw you get to the statue. Yeah, I've hung out with that statue a little bit now. I've probably been on that platform, like, next to the statue. Oh, I lost my focus and made a blunder. I've probably been on that platform with the statue, like, 6 or 7 times now. Oh, yeah, across a couple nights. It's tough to get back up there. I'm kind of amazed that I've only had to do the Ice Palace a little bit tonight. I think last week we played, I feel like I spent most of the night down in the Ice Palace. The Ice Palace hype. I love it. Oh, I love that you've just got the perfect emote. I'm guessing that was actually made for A Link to the Past, right? Ice Palace is the name of an ice skating rink near you, cows. It's actually made for NX to troll him because he hated doing the Ice Palace in A Link to the Past, especially during the randomizer. Yeah, the Ice Palace is my least favorite part of A Link to the Past. I think it's got to be a lot of people's, right? I like that you've dedicated an emote to trolling. I love trolling NX. He secretly likes it. Oh yeah, I'm absolutely sure. I would I would rush to the opportunity to copy that idea, and if I had a situation ripe for trolling one of my friends. Did you ever go back and complete that in the Wizard of Oz, Shadow? Did you ever go back and complete that RNG mini game? Was it a dice game? Don't remember exactly what it was, but there was a mini game with impossible RNG. Have you gone back to torture yourself? The dice game. You did complete it? Oh my. I just remembered that. That was torturous. You put it as a redeem. I love it. That's a Jump King might have to be reduced to someday. If I hit the 200-hour mark with this game, we might have to retire it from the regular schedule and have a redeem to put it back on. I'll probably be stuck here in the same windy area. So I spent like 40 plus hours with Jump King. The number is a little bit inflated though because I started the playthrough like a year and a half ago, and I played it for 3 sessions, I think, and then I didn't touch it for a year and a half, and then we just started it up again a couple months, like 2 months ago. So like at least 7 hours of our playthrough time are stuff that I had to relearn because I put the game down for too long. So there's some duplicate time in there. Not that it would have taken me the same amount of time to relearn what I forgot one for one, but a year and a half is a long time to step away from a game. And I'm not saying that time doesn't count. It certainly does count, but there's a little bit more to the situation than you can see on the surface, is all I'm saying. No. These jumps are hard. Very hard. No. Can't we just spend a little time up here tonight without falling back into the wind? Even if I have to go back down there eventually, can't we just be up here for a little while? Oh, wait. This? No! Too aggressive of a bounce. I did remember that it's a bounce to the left works, but I did it too aggressively. I think that our Jump King playthrough ends either when, you know, we reach the end of the game, or if I'm playing this some night and I make some weird bounce jump and someone in the chat tells me, hey, I'm a Jump King speedrunner and I never realized you could bounce like that before. That's a setup that makes that jump a little bit easier. I'm gonna use that from now on. Then I'm gonna say, Frownie wins, and we're gonna stop the playthrough. Not that I'm clever, but just I've been stuck in the same areas for so long that the odds of me accidentally doing something that's never been tried before, I think, like, the longer I spend stuck in an area, like, the higher that gets, right? So... So if that happens, I'm gonna count it as a win, and the game's gonna be over. I don't think it's likely, but I can dream, right? Yeah, I know. When that happened for Castlevania: The Adventure, I became a speedrunner of that game for a while. I don't think that's gonna happen with Jump King. That is one of the most odd and unlikely events to have ever happened on the stream. To accidentally discover on my first playthrough a trick that forever changes the world record speedrun of a game. Because I really don't think the Frownie drop is ever going away. I don't see why it ever would. It fills me with an indescribable joy. Not only that I have a signature move, but that my signature move is to bang my head on a wall and fall down a hole. That's the, that's... That's... it's just so perfect. It's just... I couldn't script a better signature move. We need the Mazin of Jump King to watch the stream and yeah, find some wackadoodle jump you do and lose their mind. I think it's got to be a bounce. I think it's got to be somewhere where I do a bounce. Is that? Jump in the wrong direction or something. Dream big. Right? It's all super unlikely, but there's... It's always good to dream big. What would the king of Jump King tell me to help me win? To jump with better precision and focus. I mean, yeah, really, that's all there is to it, right? The thing that prevents me from winning is that I'm imprecise and unfocused. I guess someone could come in and say, "Hey, you know this game is a lot easier if you pause before you make all your jumps." And I could say, "Thanks for the tip. No, I'll never use it." Let's have a little bit of coffee. Why? Why is it not working? I wonder what the, like, maximum... I wonder what the maximum amount of time I could subject myself to in one sitting to Jump King, like, realistically is. Like, could I do a 10-hour Jump King stream? Frownie, I have exceptional news, Tuesday says. Oh, I'd be excited to hear it. please do share. Today is the 100th anniversary of Vegemite. That is not what I was expecting. Only 100 years, really? The Vegemite seems like one of those things that, like... Like, it should be on, like, its 180th year or something. Like, I can't, like, that means that, like, Vegemite is, root beer is older than Vegemite. Like, that's hard for me to believe. $10 is a lot. This game is a roller coaster of emotions, with there being more lows than highs. Well, I think the issue is, like, it's like a real roller coaster. In that, you know, the climb to the highs is like the nice, like, the, like, real slow process. And then when it's time to go to the lows, that's where it's a tremendous rush. So I've been onto this screen before, but I haven't been above this screen, I don't think. I think this screen is my PB. It's very exciting, Cal says. If only I had some Vegemite, I could sample it for the first time to celebrate. Because I've actually never had Vegemite before. I'm over here calling it an ancient evil, just all based on hearsay. For actual exceptional news, my father won a racing competition on the weekend. GG. Beat his 10-year personal best and beat someone with a faster bike. Better reaction times. My father's now the only person in Oz to have a gold trophy from all 3 sanctioning bodies for his category of racing. Hey, that makes him an undisputed champion. That's very cool. I appreciate you sharing Tuesday, and hats off to your father. Very well done. Congrats to Papa Tuesday. the only way to win is not to play. At least you haven't gone below the win. That's something to be thankful for. It's been a little while since I've been that low. It definitely could happen, but I am glad to have not. I am glad to have not. Let's try and keep it that way. I think we only did the full Ice Palace once tonight. I did part of it a couple times, but I think I only fell down to the very bottom of it once. Maybe twice. It's all just a blur. All my time with Jump King just bleeds all together into one ugly mess. Thought I messed up that jump. Never, ever, ever, never, ever, ever take checkpoints for granted. Checkpoints are the most beautiful of all gaming mechanics. I'm out for the night. Good luck to the rest of you jumping, Frownie. Hey, Zergling, thank you for being here with us. Enjoy the rest of your night. When you sleep, sleep well. And we'll look forward to seeing you again. It is a shame you're going to miss all this progress. All this progress. The jumping in place doesn't serve any purpose. It's just a little expression of my impatience as I wait for the wind to change to a useful direction. No. Oh, I love this area up here. Why can't I just move in? That's why. Because someone left giant holes in the floor. Oh, I disagree. Life is suffering. I think it's gonna happen, my friends. I think this is gonna be, I think it's gonna be the first night in a couple weeks where we don't see anything new. I'm not feeling like I'm not feeling like I'm gonna get any higher. My spirits are low. Spirits are low. Thank you for the palms, cows. I don't want to let you down, but I don't believe. probably won't go for too much longer tonight, so just go over the plan for the rest of the week. So I plan to be back tomorrow night. Keep in mind that all of the schedule is now very much up in the air. With my leaky roof situation, I don't know what's going to happen that's going to affect my ability to stream, so I could cancel at any time. I don't want to do that to you, but it's just not going to be avoidable. It's like something might happen, or I have to work on something, or it just, who knows. My schedule could be thrown off pretty badly, so I'll let you know in the Discord if I can't make it some night. But the plan for now, at least, is to try and be here tomorrow. Hope it gets resolved quickly and inexpensively. Well, I don't think inexpensively is an option. That's the big problem, is do I have enough money to fix the problem? That's my big concern right now. Because we kind of just need to get the whole roof redone, and like, ideally, if we're gonna have the roof, like if we're gonna have it redone, I'd ideally like to have metal put on instead of shingles, which is more expensive, but you know, lasts longer. I don't really want to have to pay to have it re-shingled, you know, again and again and again. But we'll see. We're gonna see what happens with that. But anyway, aside from it like making me cancel a few streams, hopefully it won't be too much of a problem for us. But tentatively, I expect to be here tomorrow night. Vampire Crystals in the first part of the stream, and Gargoyles Quest in the second. We played a bit of that on Sunday, and we've got a password. We're gonna pick up where we left off. Continue my first playthrough through that game. That game's pretty cool. Where I left off, it's kind of I left off in kind of a yucky place, but I think once we get through there, it'll start being real cool again. It's been a pretty good game. Thursday night, there's not going to be any regular stream on Thursday. I might show up unannounced earlier in the day just to do something if I have some free time, but plan for no stream on Thursday. And Friday's a big question mark. I don't have anything put down. If we do stream, it should be our usual stuff. We wear and something, but I don't know. It's all a mystery. The preview of what's coming up is not very useful. I'm realizing the more I talk about it. But if you're in the Discord, I'll do my best to communicate with you. You know, give you a heads up when a stream's about to start, or let you know if it's going to be canceled. If you're not in our Discord, you're welcome to join it. So you can get those heads up among access to you know, what other nonsense may go on in there. Just let me or one of my mods like Cows know that you need an invite, and we'll be happy to send one your way. I always like when I do one of these like little marathons where we play a whole bunch of random stuff, like our WeWare marathon, or you know, like when we do Jankuary and or whatever it is. I always like those because it makes the victories page in the Discord look really good. When it comes to the end of the month, and I look at the victories entry, even if most of the titles are bogus, I like to see a whole lot of titles there, right? It makes me feel like I got a lot done. So, like, you know, we've got like, whenever we get up into the double digits, I'm like very pleased. Because some months there's like 4 entries on the victories for there's like 4 entries for victories, and it looks really anemic. Like I just didn't do anything that month. So I like these projects that artificially inflate my victory count with a whole bunch of bogus stuff that doesn't take so much time. Not that I shouldn't be proud of them, because some of these things, like the Tasmanian Devil Marathon, some of those games were some of the worst games I've played on the stream. So, like, yeah, they artificially inflated my victory count, but I mean, I suffered for that inflation. So how artificial is it, really? Ahoy, Rush Pirate. Welcome in. Oh, no. I think when I fall, you're kind of here at the end of the stream, Rush Pirate. I gotta let you know. I appreciate you coming in, and I hate to run away when someone's just getting here. But I think when I fall out of this pink area next time, I think that's where we're gonna rage quit and call it a night. When I fall back into the wind right now. Alright, hang on. We're real close. We're real close. Hang on. I'll see if I can get back up there. This wasn't a far fall. I might be able to live with this one. It's still not that bad. Hey, hang on. It's still not that bad. I'm not gonna say that all the way down to bedrock, by the way. I'm not gonna miss every jump and just continue to say it's still not that bad as I go 100 screens down. It did look like that was the beginning of that kind of event. Oh. That would have been great comedy though if I had done that. There's not a whole lot of entries on the list of things I wouldn't do to equip Jump King with a jetpack right about now. Like, if I could give this guy a rocket pack to fly up to the top. I'd do almost anything to seize that opportunity, I think. I knew I was undershooting there. Oh no, I can feel it. I think this does feel like it might be the longest I've ever stayed up in this pink area for a stretch. I usually go tumbling out of here like immediately. No. Alright, that's where we're gonna call it a night. Let me just get somewhere safe and we'll wrap it up. It was going pretty well. We didn't see anything new tonight, so I am mega dispirited. I assure you that I'm going to cry myself to sleep after this. But it's all I can do. A valiant effort. Thank you, cows. I appreciate the positive spin. But yeah, that's gonna be it for us for this one for tonight, my friends. Thank you very much for being here. I really appreciate your company. I really need it when times are this rough, and it's very good of you to take the time to be here with me and to offer me encouragement. I'm very grateful. But thank you to the Juker, to Angelus, to Big Evil, and Dollar Phil for the raids. I very much appreciate you coming by, my friends, and bringing your people by. Thank you for the stream. Love watching Jump King. Shadow says, "Thank you for being here, Shadow. I love having being able to enjoy your company. Love having you with us. Be well until we can until we meet again. Always a great time here," Cows says, even if the jumping is a little discouraging. Thank you, Cows. I am very grateful for your constant companionship and your unwavering support. I would be lost without you, my friend. Well, we'll find someone to raid. Let me just take a moment to see who's here. I've already told you the situation. The schedule is in a state of uncertainty, but hopefully I will be back tomorrow sometime between 10 and 11 p.m. Central Time. I'll give you a heads up close to time in the Discord. Vampire Crystals in the first part of the stream. Gargoyle's Quest in the second. I'll try and complete at least one world in Vampire Crystals. What is going on over here? Oh, I think I know what's going on. Thursday night, we would normally stream on Thursday, but not really planning to this week. Friday night is a big question mark as well. I've got a doctor's appointment Friday morning. That's what's throwing the schedule off this week. So hopefully that will go well, and not jeopardize too many streams. But just so you know why things are happening the way they are. I'm going to send us over to Narblast. Nar's got an excellent stream. Huge retro streamer, is working on an NES project to complete blind every NES game. He's working on a baseball game tonight, which might not sound like the most thrilling of activities, but I was confused because there's some green screen shenanigans going on to spice it up a bit, it looks like. So maybe it'll be better than you would expect. But Nars stream is a great place to hang out regardless. And he's got a wonderful mustache. It's worth coming along for the raid just to admire the excellent mustache. Hopefully I'll be able to make it tomorrow. It's window day. We'll see how long that takes. I hope to have you here, cows, but if not, I hope the windowing goes smoothly. Be well, my friend. Be well, everybody. Thank you one last time. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you've enjoyed our time together. I hope I get to see you again very soon. Be well until that happens. But we're all out of things to do for tonight. It is time to head out. Let's go on an adventure.